One, two, three, go. Alright, so today I will be tackling about the purpose of children and adolescent literature. Prominent historians in children's literature, namely F.J. Harvey Darton, Percy Muir, and Ian Field, highlight the value of children's literature as primarily a source of entertainment next to instruction. So, this notion nurtures young readers to develop a positive attitude towards reading, and in this process of reading, experts expect learning to co-occur. So this explains the importance of children's literature, highlighting how it is not just for entertainment but also for teaching values. So historians like F.J. Harvey Darton, Percy Muir, and E.M. Field believe that stories for children help them enjoy reading while learning at the same time. So these stories are seen as tools for shaping positive attitudes and behaviors in kids. And then educators and other members of the community like parents, school leaders, and even government officials agree that books should guide children and teenagers to develop good morals and beliefs. So in other words, children's literature serves as a role model, teaching them what society values while keeping the process fun and engaging. One, two, three, go. Alright, so we have an example here. First example story, which is the fox and the crow. So in this fable, a fox tricks a crow into dropping her piece of cheese. So the fox flatters the crow, praising her beauty and pretending to admire her. So he says that with such wonderful feathers and forms, she must have a lovely singing voice too. So the crow, flattered and eager to prove him right, opens her beak to sing, forgetting she's holding the cheese, and the cheese falls. And the fox takes it, thanking her for her foolishness. So the story teaches a lesson that don't be fooled by flattery, because it reminds us to think carefully and not let kind words make us act unwisely. Right, so next story is why the piña has 100 eyes. So this story explains how the piña or pineapple fruit um, got its unique appearance with many eyes on its surface. So it begins with Pinang, a young girl who had to take care of household chores when her mother, Alan Rosa, became sick. So since Pinang had no experience in the kitchen, she kept waking her mother up to ask for help and directions, even for obvious things. So this frustrated Aling Rosa, and she angrily said, "I wish you had many pairs of eyes to find what you're looking for." So after that day, Pinang mysteriously disappeared. So despite everyone's efforts to find her, she was never seen again. And then strangely, a new plant grew under their house, which Aling Rosa carefully nurtured. So, and then it bore a fruit that looked like it had many eyes, reminding Aling Rosa of her daughter. So this became known as the pineapple or piña in Filipino. So the story teaches the value of resourcefulness and independence, reminding us to learn how to do things on our own without always relying on others. Alright, so now we have here communicative competencies. So first we have the grammatical competence in literature. So reading literature now helps us understand and apply grammar rules naturally. So through well-written texts, we see how authors construct sentences and use language effectively. Second one is the discourse competence. So, literature teaches us how ideas are connected in meaningful ways. Stories, essays, and plays demonstrate how to structure a message clearly with a beginning, middle, and end. So the third one, we have the social linguistic competence, wherein it reflects the culture and social norms of a time or place, teaching us how to communicate appropriately in different contexts. So the fourth one, we also have strategic competence. So, no, characters in literature often demonstrate how to overcome communication barriers like misunderstanding or language differences. So by engaging, no, with literature, we practice these competence in a safe and creative way. So literature doesn't just entertain, no, it equips us with the skills to communicate effectively in real life, fostering both emotional and intellectual growth.
So once again, good morning everyone. I am Rebelin Shinsai Rigimong, and at this juncture, we are on the censorship. So when we talk about censorship, it is generally the process of assessing and filtering any literary piece or educational resource found to be morally offensive or having repulsive, abusive comments. And at most, the censors investigate and examine literature challenged by a particular individual or group to some extent on a valid grounds, like the history of censorship in the United States, a country known for its democracy, right? Where it is evident that there are several arguments that are common and are recurring, such as sexuality and obscenity, LGBTQ plus issues, and even religiously offensive content. And these familiar entities were one of the factors for the challenge books that might have offensive content, and those individuals that had mentioned raised an issue of concern and put up a challenge for one cause, which is to protect the minds and hearts of the young readers from disturbing issues and unnecessary information, and that is according to Jenkins 2001. And due to the concerns that they brought up, caused most of the school administrators, educators, and parents concurrently decide to censor and ban literature for its prominent display of brutality and violence. And there are two popular tales that you can see, which is are the Frog King, or known as the Frog Prince, and the Cinderella. And the two tales that I mentioned are both tales that display brutality and violence. And in the excerpt that you have seen in our side, the excerpt from the Frog King or the Frog Prince, is you can actually see there the excerpt, and you've seen that the princess did not kiss the frog, right? Which for love. She did not kiss the frog prince for love, but instead he threw him hard into the wall, where actually it demonstrates brutality, especially with the princess knowing that the frog was once a human being, which is a prince. But to understand the side of the princess, we cannot deny, right, that sometimes it is our normal reaction that when a frog jumps on us or we got scared of a frog, we intend to panic that resulted to throwing it. But anyways, let us continue with the tale of Cinderella, which is the excerpt that you see in the slide. The Cinderella clearly shows brutal and violent content as the mother instructs her two daughters to cut off part of their foot to fit the shoes, encouraging them that they only have to endure the pain for a bit and exchange they will enjoy like a princess forever. And it is evident that this is not the type of a tale that the parents would like their children to read. However, in some other points, such as social and political concerns, the challengers' view may clash with the teachers' and the librarians' perspectives, particularly in enriching value of these pieces of literature for class instruction. And this is the end of my part, so let us move forward to the next part, which is the process of censorship. So thank you everyone for listening.
So, I am going to discuss this part of our topic, which is the process of censorship. So, this text excerpts describes six factors based on Hopkins' 1991 study that contribute to book challenges, attempts to remove books from libraries or schools. So the first one is the narrative of the challenge. So this refers to the story or explanation given for why the book is being challenged and the nature of the complaint itself. The second one is the challengers. Who is initiating the challenge? Who means the person. So this considers the identity and motivation of the individuals or groups involved. The third one is the librarian's rule. The librarian's expertise and characters are factors. A well-respected librarian might be more effective um, in defending a challenge book. The fourth one is the library policy and implementation. So, the library's existing policies regarding the book challenges and how effectively these policies are implemented influence the outcome. And the fifth institutional support. The degree of support from the academic institution, faculty, personnel, officials plays a significant role in whether the challenge is successful or how they over, overcome the challenge. The last one is the community support. It is the external support from the surrounding community can either strengthen or weaken the challenge. So, in essence, the excerpt highlights that book challenges are complex and depend on a variety of interacting factors beyond just the content of the book itself. This text outlines the process of censorship within an academic setting, likely a school or university library. According to Jenkins 2011, it details 6 key steps or factors involved. The first one is the complaint. It is the process begins with a complaint about a book or piece of literature. The second is the acknowledgement. The individual or group raising issue is to be acknowledged. The third one is the librarian statement. The librarian provides a statement about the background of the literature and the concern raised. The fourth one is the library policy. It is the relevant library policies regarding the book selection are cited, emphasizing adherence
So now we are on the decision in the challenge literature or book. And hi, this is Robin again, and to move forward with the discussion, in this part, the findings during the discussion of the challenge determine the fate of the literature or the book. And one of the authority, or if the authority found the book falsely accused of the complaints, the book will be available for display without restriction now. However, when censors find the challenge literature otherwise, the complaints and the authorities will settle certain compromises. So the first compromises they had made is the closed shelving. This is very comprehensible or understandable by us now, since it means that the access to the literature would require parents' note or the parents' permission. Next is we have the relocation to references section where the material or the book could not be checked out or can be borrowed, ensuring that they are available for the in-library use only. So in the shorter term, when it comes to this second compromises, it means that those books or literature that are challenged cannot be borrowed outside the library. So it could be used only sa library lang. Next is we have the third, which is the reclassifying the material for access only among students in the higher level. So it means that changing how it is organized or labeled so that only students in higher grades or levels can access it. And this is to ensure that the content is suitable for their knowledge and skills, keeping it away from younger or less advanced students. So the fourth one is the altering literary text to remove the offensive statements, where it means that changing or editing books or unwritten works to take out language or content that may be considered disrespectful, hurtful, or inappropriate for young readers. And this is often done to make the material more acceptable for readers and to promote as well a more inclusive and respectful environment. And the last one is the banning the literary text or book, which means simple, meaning that access to such is entirely restricted or removed. So that is all the certain compromises they had made towards the challenge literature or book. So that will be all for my part, and thank you everyone for listening.
So, good evening, everyone. For the conclusion of this topic, children and adolescent literature is essential for developing young readers' minds, enhancing their creativity, and educating them about the world. Its integration into curricula is crucial. Exposure to well-written children's and young adult literature helps children develop crucial cognitive skills like critical thinking and problem solving through engaging narratives and diverse characters. Furthermore, it nurtures creativity by stimulating imagination and inspiring self expression. Finally, it broadens understanding of the world by introducing cultures, historical periods, and social issues, fostering empathy and global awareness. Integrating such literature into curricula ensures these benefits are accessible to all students. So, the Philippines, like other nations, incorporates diverse world literature to develop Filipino learners' communicative competence. Literary texts serve as a valuable resource for fostering awareness of diverse cultural backgrounds. So, including diverse world literature in the Philippine educational system not only improves language skills, reading comprehension, vocabulary, and writing, but also cultivates cultural sensitivity and understanding. Exposure to different literary styles and narrative structures from various countries enhances communicative competence. While the stories themselves offer insights into different cultural values, beliefs, and perspectives, promoting tolerance and respect for diversity. So next is the selection of literary pieces for libraries and classroom in a serious responsibility for librarians and educators. So choosing appropriate literature requires careful consideration of age, appropriateness, reading levels, and the potential impact on young minds. Librarians and educators must curate collections that are both engaging and enriching, representing diverse voices and perspectives while avoiding potentially harmful or inappropriate content. Next is um, so some challenge literary selections based on potentially offensive content, leading to censorship concerns. Disagreements often arise over what constitutes offensive content, leading to debates about censorship. Some parents or community members may object to books containing violence, mature themes, or perspectives that differ from their own values. This leads to challenges in balancing freedom of expression with the need to protect children from potentially harm material, resulting in censorship discussions and sometimes the removal of books from libraries or classrooms. Last is censorship. Censorship involves a process of assessing and filtering materials deemed morally offensive or repulsive. Hopkins 1991 identified 6 key factors influencing this process. So, censorship is a complex issue with far reaching implications. It involves a subjective judgment or what is considered morally acceptable or appropriate for a specific audience. Hopkins 1991 research highlights the multi faced nature of this process, showing how community values, parental concerns, political agendas, religious beliefs, historical context, and personal biases all play a significant role in determining which materials are deemed acceptable or unacceptable. So, in conclusion, while the benefits of diverse children's and young adult literature are undeniable in fostering literacy, creativity, and cultural understanding, the complexities of censorship highlight the ongoing tension between freedom or expression and community standards in selecting the appropriate materials for young readers. So, that's all for my part. Thank you.